All right, now let us say hello to the man who was victorious this past Saturday at UFC 254. Huge win for Robert Whittaker over Jared Cannonier, and he's kind enough to join us now with his familiar gaming headphones that he usually loves to wear. But he's back in a hotel. You're back to quarantining, right, Robert?
I am. I'm back.
Same deal, 14 days?
Yep, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. I've gotten used to it at this point. It feels like I was just here.
I know. So, I was thinking about that because you had the fight in July, you fight till you have to do this again, right? You have to go through the whole quarantine process. Then you go back out there. If you like the American fighters, I saw Michael Chandler earlier today, like he's at the park running, like they don't have to go through this. Did this factor into your decision making as to whether or not you wanted to take another fight in the midst of all this because you have to be away from your family again?
Yeah, it was something I definitely thought about, and I thought about like the drags and the drains and how that would play on me. But it's just part of the gig, right? It's just something you have to do.
So you cannot leave your room for 14 days, right?
14 days.
So I saw the guys in New Zealand, they're allowed to like take a walk outside. You can't even do that.
No, we're not allowed to. I'm very fortunate. I have a balcony, so I can so I can sit out there. But no, I'm not allowed to leave at all.
Wow. And what do you do for exercise? Or would you not even exercise after a fight like that anyway?
Exercise, mate. I'm on the shelf till next year. That's that's next year's problem.
Okay. I saw you eating. What were you eating yesterday? I saw you eating like a hamburger or something, but it was in the morning. What
Yeah,
was that?
bacon egg roll, mate.
Okay. And
The staple of the Australian diet.
is that from a certain spot or did you make it yourself?
No, definitely. The cafe downstairs. We can order food from downstairs and whatnot. So
Okay.
very fortunate in that regard.
Okay. So trip number one to Fight Island versus trip number two, both victories for you. So a great experience, but which experience was better? Which one did you enjoy more?
Honestly, honestly, the first trip was I don't know. It was fresher, so there were more things to do. It was exciting, like all the new things, all the new sounds, sights. It was cool. But the second trip, whilst I got bored quicker, it felt like the whole trip as a whole went faster.
Interesting. And were you there for the same amount of time?
The exact same amount of time. Had to climatize and get used to the sleeping patterns because the time we fought was different again. So
Right.
it's always changing.
For you mentally, though, was the second time maybe a little more relaxed than the first time because this time you're coming off a win as opposed to coming off a loss and everything that you had been through leading up to the Till fight? Did it feel different?
Yeah, certainly. The I guess the self-imposed pressures weren't there as much because
Hmm.
obviously coming off a big loss to Izzy the first time, it was, there's a lot of pressure. There was self-imposed pressure where I felt like I had to come back. I didn't want to be that guy who lost consecutively after losing his belt and things like that. You think about these things.
So this time you felt more relaxed.
I did. I felt much more relaxed.
What did you feel, or how did you feel, I should say, about the fight overall, like the entire body of work, the 3 round fight, the performance that you had?
I'm quite happy with it and quite pleased. Me and my team worked a game plan from the moment I left isolation the first time to the moment we stepped back into Abu Dhabi, and we diligently worked on this game plan, and I feel that I executed the game plan to the best degree, and we had a great result because of it.
What was the game plan?
Just be patient, snipe him from the outside, don't play into his hands, and just use my speed to my advantages. Use the wrestling when it appears, and just take the fight wherever I want.
See, I thought you won all 3 rounds. Obviously, the third round was a little close, and I don't remember if they gave him the first round, at least, or one of the judges did. At the end of the fight, how did you think it was going to be scored?
I thought for sure I had it in the bag.
Okay.
Because I feel I did significant damage in the third round with the head kick and the knockdown. So I thought I I was very comfortable with my performance and understanding that I had taken the scorecards.
Now there was a train of thought out there that I saw that said if it went 5 rounds, if it was a 5 round main event, that the tide was starting to turn. Did you Would you say that he was starting to pick up steam or gain momentum, or did he hurt you at all towards the end of the fight? What do you say to those people?
Um, What fight were they watching? I guess yeah, honestly he landed one shot on me in the third round, which wasn't even the knockdown, right?
Hmm.
It was just one good shot, but I did knock him down. I almost took his head off. He's a tough guy and a tough fight, but you can see from the start of the fight to the finish, the damage that was accumulating on his face was getting worse and worse and worse, and yeah, I don't think it would have been better if 5 rounds. If anything, it probably would have been worse. But
Okay.
who knows? That's a different fight. That's something that didn't happen.
He said that he broke his arm, I believe, very early in the fight. I think he said that a kick is what led to it. Could you sense that his arm was broken, that he was down a weapon?
No, I couldn't sense that his arm was broken, but I knew my foot was sore.
Oh,
That's I saw that head kick the entire fight, but I just after I heard it in the first round, I could not throw it. I threw it a few times after that, and the pain that I got bringing the foot back was just so much. I almost started limping like in the fight.
wow.
I couldn't throw it, so I just avoided throwing it, and then I just forced it out in the third round, and yeah.
Wow. And so is it okay now?
Yeah, it's sore. I haven't really gotten it checked. I'm gonna get my body checked when I leave isolation. See, because the 2 weeks should be enough time to see what's really injured or not.
Okay. And afterwards, I saw a photo of you guys together. I love this sort of thing. It's always very nice. And you guys even exchanged some words in the cage. What did you guys say to each other?
I thought that he's a role model for the sport. I like the way he conducts himself. I think he's very honourable and respectful, and that's the way it should be. I think that's how fighting should be, like martial arts, as a whole. I have a lot of respect for him as an athlete, as a fighter, and yeah, it's good to have like a kinship there with our fellow fighters.
Hmm. Because he's a fresh face, because you fought Izzy already, and Izzy was kind of, pumping him up and showed a lot of respect
Mm.
towards him. Did you feel like everyone was rooting for him to win? Like this was a setup to build him off of your name?
Mate, I don't know. You've seen my career. They have literally done that with everybody I fought, mate. Everybody I fought is the next biggest thing. They're the biggest monster. They're the next guy that's going to starch me. I'm always the underdog for some reason. Like, but I don't mind. I don't mind. I like hiding and playing inside.
You don't get offended by this. Like, come on, where's my respect?
No, I don't. I don't need to just. I have nothing to prove. I know who I am, and the people that follow and support me, they know. And even what, even with everybody speaking and saying things like that, trying to undercut my value, they know. Everybody I go up against knows. They know I'm real. I'm dangerous. Otherwise, like they just try and take everything from me, and they can't.
So it's an interesting thing because I mean, you could make a case that you're the comeback fighter of the year. You have the year that you had last year. You come back, you fight twice. That's notable. The fact that you fought twice in the span of 3 months, right? Considering all the bad luck that you had as champion. And Dana White afterwards said, very appealing to run it back between you and Izzy. But correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. I don't feel like you want the title fight. I feel like life is better for you without the title. You're successful. You've been there, done that. It was like a weird time for you. I don't feel, and I want to make this very clear. I know you would take it, and I know in your heart, you feel in your heart that you could beat Izzy, but I don't feel like you're banging the drum because like life is just a little simpler without all of that. Am I wrong?
It's it's the thing is like it's not it will happen. It's not something that I need to chase because it's going to happen. Like, and that's why after I lost Izzy, I didn't start roaring that I wanted a rematch straight away because I knew that if I just beat the guys they put in front of me, then I'll get there eventually. Like I want to run that back with Izzy. I want that fight, but I'm in no rush. I'm not going anywhere.
Mm.
Like, and I know he's doing certain things. Honestly, my biggest concern is what I'm doing at the end of the year. it's it's just enjoying this break and my new child, part of the family that's coming along. That's the biggest thing for me right now. And then afterwards, like I'll take that fight for sure.
And when is your child expected to come?
January.
January. Okay. So you're
Yeah,
not even thinking of anything until that happens.
exactly. Because, like you said, the time like when I had the title and that whole period was so weird with injuries and illnesses, and then just the title itself, and that whole period was just a bit of a mess.
Mm.
So uh, I feel like I'm in a really good place right now, and I understand just who I am and how I'm doing things.
So let me ask you this, because the sense that I'm getting, and I know you're not too caught up in this, but you're right in the mix of it all, whether you like it or not, right? Because of how good you've looked in your last two fights. The sense that I'm getting is Izzy wants to move up to 205 to fight Jan Blachowicz and get that title. How would you feel if he does that?
And that's fine. That's fine with me because I honestly I don't want to fight until about March, April next year anyway.
Okay.
So if the timelines work out, he can go up, fight him, and then come back down and fight me. You know,
Okay. So now let me ask you this. Let's say he goes up. Let's say he goes up in February or January. Probably not January because that's when Connor's fighting. But let's say he goes up in February or even March. And then, he'll need some time probably to come back down and rest. They say to you, hey, why don't you fight Jack Hermansen if he wins against Darren Till or some other contender? Would you do that? Like, are you open to just continuing your career? And if the chips fall in your favor, great. It's not something you're going to chase.
it's 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 hard to say. I'm really not thinking about it too much because there's honestly there's so many what ifs and what's happening and stuff. I feel like I've earned that fight, that title fight. I've earned that, with my back to back what defense of number one,
Hmm.
being the gatekeeper for the title twice. Like I feel like I've earned that right to have that shot. But how the chips fall, if you would, and like how the timelines work, it's anybody's guess at this point.
How do you think he would do if he went up to 205 and fought Jan?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Jan's like a really good fighter, but he's pretty good, man. he's he's pretty good. I'll give him that. It is hard to say. I think he could be competitive for sure.
Mm. Is there any part, and maybe you don't care about any of this, but I feel remiss if I don't ask. There was some talk of him moving up to fight Jon Jones, and now Jon is gone, and now he moves up to fight Jan. Do you think the timing is a little funny?
Who can say?
It's
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. I honestly, I don't try to concern myself with everybody's machinations and their little ploys and schemes and
we hate all
the
this stuff,
way.
right?
It's just, it's like we've been speaking about it for about what 10 seconds, and I'm already stressed out. Like
You,
it's it's just not
but
worth
you
it.
you host a podcast. This is part of your world. You're very much entrenched in this.
Used to.
Oh, what happened? No
You-
more podcast.
I took a step to the left just because I just wanted to focus on just what I'm doing, which is just the combat, the
Yeah,
gym, and just my kids. Like I needed to declutter, if you would. I needed to
gotcha.
slow everything down.
Well, have you had a chance, maybe now since you're in isolation, this time last year, right? Like what a difference a year makes for you. This time last year, you're coming off the Izzy fight, you lost your belt. The story, as you told the paper there in Australia, around Christmas time, you're doing the sprints and you're like, I need a break, right? What a difference. I would imagine now you're expecting another child. You seem to be in a great place. You took that break mentally. You were able to find the love and the fire again for the sport. Isn't it amazing how far you've come in a year?
It's ridiculous. It is, and honestly, I think that's how it's always been. It's like you struggle and you grind and you hustle, and then something switches over and you're really good, but then it starts to fall apart again, and something switches again. And I'm just at that point where I've learned from my losses. I've learned from getting knocked down, and I'm just wiser. I'm smarter. I'm more confident in my decisions.
I remember talking to you before the Yoel Romero fight in Chicago. So this was June of 2018, and I remember speaking to you, and I remember this vividly. You're like, yeah, I don't really care about the belt. Like the belt doesn't mean to me what it means to other people and things of that nature. And you've stayed true to that response throughout, even after the fight against Izzy. And so I'm just wondering if you never fight for the belt again or win the belt again, will it even bother you that much? Is this something that's going to like eat at you, or are you good? Are you
No,
content?
no, but you see, I will fight for the belt again. It's inevitable. I just don't worry about it because it's inevitable.
Mm,
And that's been my whole mentality. It's not my mentality on title fights, and the title isn't one of reluctance. It's not one like, oh, I don't want to have to fight for the belt. No, it's more that I will fight for the belt. It's natural. I don't have to worry about it because I'm just going to keep beating whoever they put in front of me, and eventually I'm going to be the only one standing at the top. And that's as simple as it is.
So just curious, because I'm fascinated by your stance on this. Um, if the belt doesn't really mean that much to you, other than to say you're the best, why the desire to even like why? I know you're saying you just know you're not stressing about it, but who needs that? Because it brought like weird things to your life and
Mm.
bad luck. Maybe like who just like like why even think about the belt at all in any respect? Not strive for it or even dream like why stay as far away as possible from it. You think life is so good for you without the belt. Look how you've done this past year.
Yeah, but you see, the thing is, it's like it's not the belt that I want,
Mm,
but I do need, like, I do want to beat everybody. I
okay.
need to be the one at the top. I
Mm,
need to be the guy sitting in the throne. Like that is a that's just part of who I am. That's just part of being a fighter. I don't think there's a fighter out there that doesn't have that desire to be the one standing on top of the heap.
mm.
And you know, that I guess you could say is the belt. So it's like, I guess everyone's chasing the same goal, just in a different light.
Fair enough. Let's say life hasn't changed all that much. Come, next March or April or so. Hopefully it does. And it's again Fight Island or Vegas. This time, do you want to go to Vegas or do you like the idea of continuing to go to Fight Island?
Fight Island's been pretty good for me lately.
Yeah, it is.
So I guess like that's my watering hole, if you would. I wouldn't mind just hanging out there for a little bit more. It's
And
everything's real streamlined there. Everything's really easy, and I really like that about it. Obviously, we've got to test and isolate and all that stuff, but it's one flight there. You're isolated in your room. Everything's in the same hotel. You get your work, you do your work, you fly home, you isolate here, and you're done. That's it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems very easy. And wasn't it nice to only do a 15-minute fight for once in a very long time? Did you enjoy that?
Very much so. I remember vividly in the third round, I was thinking to myself, like, this would suck if there were two more rounds after this. So I was very happy that it was only 15 minutes.
Did you stick around and watch Khabib afterwards, or did you go back to your room?
Yeah, I did watch it.
What were you thinking when you saw him win like that, and then the emotion afterwards and him retiring?
Um, oh, he's a freak, isn't he? Like,
Yeah.
good gosh, he's so good. He is so good. He made one of the best dudes in the world look not like one of the best dudes in the world. It's just phenomenal. I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't want to take a fight with him. I'm much bigger than he is. He's a scary dude, and his show of emotion, I think, was expected.
Mm.
It's an emotional thing, especially because of everything that he's had to go through to get to where he is, and then the fact that he's hanging up the gloves. It was touching.
And there's a big debate now. Khabib, Jon Jones, pound for pound, number one. Who's your vote?
Oh, I like John, I do, but I think even John would say, like, maybe, or I don't know
Actually, I
if
don't
he
think he would
has.
say.
Yeah, I think I saw something on Instagram where he's like messaging
Yes,
him.
yes, yes.
Uh, yeah, maybe not. I don't know. Habib's been flawless. He's had a
Yeah.
flawless run, and he's had no hiccups. He's had no obstacles. He's made every fight look easy. Every fight, and I don't know. I think Habib has done something special, but like there wasn't a single person Habib went up against that people were like, "Oh, you might get him." Like
Mhm.
everyone has always been like, "Habib's got to maul this dude."
It's incredible. It's really incredible. And it's incredible seeing what you have done this year against two incredible fighters, Darren Till, Jared Cannonier, who everyone thought was next. And you went out there and reminded people. And I have to say, Rob, it really bothered me. I felt like you were being disrespected going into this fight. I felt like people were just talking about you as some kind of opponent. And I wrote about it. You can see it with your own eyes on ESPN.com. I said, people are going to remember that Robert Whittaker is still the man. And I think you reminded them of that on
I
Saturday.
appreciate that, mate. I really do. And yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I live in the arse end of the world, but people do forget. People close their eyes on me, and I'm happy though with that because I love upsetting people. I love reminding people. I love tipping the scales and tipping over the hype trains. I love that. It's so much fun.
Well, it was fun to watch. Enjoy. What do you do like today? Like, what do you do there in your room all by yourself? You just playing video games all day? Like, how do you pass the time? It must be so
All
boring.
all day video games, and then I substitute it with trying to learn the guitar still.
Okay.
Which let me tell you, I haven't gotten any better since last isolation.
Yeah. So you bring it with you at least.
Yeah, well, because my wife dropped some things off at the hotel, so I have some things from home. It's nice.
That's nice. And what are we playing?
Right now, I'm playing Don't Starve.
Okay. Don't Starve?
Yeah.
That's a
Look it
game?
up. It's a funny game.
Okay.
But I'm just mucking around with that at the moment. And yeah, honestly, I was made for isolation life. I quite enjoyed here. Like I'm in a good spot. I have Uber Eats, I have games, I have the guitar. Like I'm good. I just miss my kids by the
I
end of
know.
it.
I feel your pain. Well, you'll see them soon enough. Enjoy your time in isolation. Enjoy your time at home, and congratulations and early good luck to you and your family on the birth in January. And enjoy Christmas, a stress-free Christmas for the first time in a while for you and the
Big
rest of your
time.
family. So enjoy it, and congrats on the win as well.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, mate.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.